where the nature also gives happiness. In fact, in the kingdom of Ram, even a lion and a goat drink water on the same banks. The atmosphere is so pure that even the violent lions don't commit violence. In the kingdom of Ram, as is the king, so are the subjects. That is, the king sustains the subjects like he sustains his children, and the subjects look at the king as their father. Is Ravan who kidnaps Sita present in that kingdom of Ram? Actually, because of becoming body conscious from the copper age, we, Sita in the form of human souls, were imprisoned in the Shok Vatika, that is the garden of sorrow of Ravan, in the form of 5 vices. The Supreme Soul Shiv enters the physical body of Ram and teaches him easy Raj Yoga, meaning the art of conquering our Indriya, and also explains the Lakshman Rekha of the limits of God. By staying within it, we stay safe from Ravan in the form of vices. Now itself, the part of Ravan, meaning Ravan who gives 10 directions, is going on in practice. So Sri Ram is also performing his task in practice to kill Ravan, and he is establishing the true religion after destroying this vicious world of Ravan. There is non-violence, truth, love, happiness, peace and prosperity in that kingdom of Ram. The kingdom of Ram is famous to exist in the Silver Age. When 8 births in the Golden Age are completed, Ram has his 9th birth in the Silver Age. Ram Navami is celebrated in this very remembrance. Now, we should recognize Ram, who has come in the corporeal form, and try to make our life fruitful through easy Raj Yoga and the knowledge of God taught by him. Om Shanti.
On this auspicious occasion of Ram Navami, celebrated by believers and devotees, on behalf of the Adhyatmik Vishwavidyalaya, we extend a warm welcome to all of you who have taken out their valuable time to join this online meeting. The glory of Ram's name is endless. Today, we would like to shed light on some spiritual factors related to the festival Ram Navami, that is, the birth of Sri Ramji. Many of you would already know that the festival of Ram Navami is celebrated on the 9th day of the brighter half of Chaitra, that is, first month of the Hindu calendar, which, according to the Sanatan religious scripture, was the day on which Maryada Purushottam Lord Sri Ramji was born. The significance of the festival of Ram Navami is significant in the Sanatan religious civilization. Its popularity is increasing day by day, and it will continue to increase in the future because of considering Sri Ramji as the direct incarnation of Vishnu. This festival is celebrated with great veneration and faith, especially by the people of India. Chaitra Navratri ends on the day of Ram Navami itself. So the devotees celebrate this auspicious day as Ram Navami and also bathe in rivers and worship, observe fast, recite stories, do havan, give donations, etc. Nowadays, Bharatvasi certainly celebrate Ram Navami, but does anybody know when Ram was really born? And what such task did Ram perform that made him so worthy of praise and worship? Does anybody know the exact answer to these questions? So today, through this session, we will know the answers to some of such questions. Along with it, we shall also know about the spiritual secret of Ram Navami. It is said the name of Ram is greater than Ram himself. This is why we take Ram's name many times in our day-to-day life. Like when we meet someone, we greet them by saying Ram Ram. People rotate the rosary while chanting Ram's name. In sorrow, people often exclaim, "O Ram." When a person dies, it is said, Ram Naam Satya Hai. Ram's name is true. The base of glory is the task, and it is on the basis of the task that character is formed. So Sri Ramji is said to have a great character. In Ramcharitmanas, Tulsidas ji has described Sri Ram as an ideal man full of all kinds of qualities such as compassion, truth, justice, moral conduct, courage, patience. Along with all this, he was an ideal son, a brother, a husband, a king, and also a friend. Other than this, Sri Ramji, the hero of the story of Ramayana, is also called Maryada Purushottam. Everybody would certainly know this, but if they are asked how Sri Ram became Maryada Purushottam, then not everybody would have an answer for it. Before knowing how Sri Ram became Maryada Purushottam, we will understand the meaning of Maryada Purushottam. Maryada meaning the one who lives within the code of conduct. To live by the code of conduct itself means not just keeping the mind and intellect under control, but also the indriya. This way, the one who performs his duty lawfully is called Purushottam, meaning the one who plays an excellent part among the souls, that is, Purush. Not just as a son, but he also followed the code of conduct justifiably as a king and as a friend. This is why it is said, Ram Raja, Ram Praja, Ram Sahukar hai, बसे नगरी जिए दाता धर्म का उपकार है. Ram is a king, Ram is a subject, and Ram is a wealthy person. That kingdom prospers, only donors live there. Religion and not irreligiousness prevails there. As a king, the kingdom of Ram is praised. As is the king, so are the subjects. Meaning, Ram sustains his subjects as his own children, and the subjects also looked upon Ram as their father. Just as Ramji played the duty of a king, in the same way, Ramji also played the duty of a subject. You may be wondering that if Ramji was a king, how did he become a subject? Praja itself means a creation in the most excellent form, and a son is certainly the subject of his father. So, as King Dashrath's obedient son, Ramji portrayed the example of an excellent subject. This is why, to keep his father's word, he gladly agreed to suffer hardships and proved the saying, रघुकुल रीति सदा चली आए, प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए. This tradition has always continued in the Raghukul clan that a promise must be kept even if it costs you your life. Other than this, Ramji also played the duty of a friend in the best way. Whoever he befriended, he maintained a relationship with him with all his heart. Despite being a great king, Sri Ramji befriended people of every caste, every class. Be it Kevat, that is, boatman, Sugriv or Vibhishan, he maintained a true friendship with all his friends. Likewise, even as a husband, Sri Ramji proved to be an ideal husband who followed the code of conduct by being bound to only one wife. He gave every woman the status of his mother, sister, or a Devi. He even addressed a demoness like Suparnkha as Devi. This is why, in today's age, in order to create a society free from increasing adultery, bad conduct, and corruption, the life story of Sri Ramji is the best of all examples. Still, because of today's education system, the people who try to follow the character of Sri Ramji are rarely seen, and most of the people keep becoming characterless and violate the code of conduct. So, what is the basis for the good character of Sri Ramji? Education. Which education? Materialistic or spiritual? It will definitely be said spiritual education, without which all kinds of teachings are incomplete. Spirituality doesn't just mean worshipping God, going to pilgrimages, chanting, doing penance, giving donation and charity. But spirituality, that is Adhyatmikta, means Adi means inside and Atmik means soul. That is, the knowledge of what is inside the soul itself will be called spiritual knowledge. Human beings are telling us what is inside the body, but nobody can tell us what is inside the soul except for the Father of the souls, the giver of knowledge of the Gita, the Supreme Father, point of light, incorporeal Shiva. That is why it is said in the Gita, among the studies, I am the spiritual study. Because of the absence of spirituality, today human beings have become materialistic, meaning they are forgetting the religion of the soul and have started considering themselves as a body, because of which life has become fraught with fear, for which it is mentioned in the Gita, Swadharmi Nidanam Shreya Paradharmo Bhayavaha. In order to make us free from such fear, to give us the spiritual knowledge, the incorporeal Shiva also has to take the support of a corporeal body. Based on that spiritual knowledge itself, he resides in the heart of every human being and is called Ram, who delights the mind of all. But the question is who Sri Ram really is, because in the path of devotion it is said, Ek Ram Dashrath ka beta, Ek Shri Ram Ghat Ghat mein leta. One Ram is the son of Dashrath, another Ram resides in everyone's heart. In fact, in the path of bhakti, the eldest son of King Dashrath himself is shown as Shri Ram. From this point of view, there certainly aren't four Rams. This means that same Ram is present everywhere, Ghat Ghat, through his elevated task, meaning he is present in the form of remembrance in everyone's mind, for which it is also said, Ramyate Yogino Yasmin iti Ramaha. It means the one in whom the yogis take delight, the one whose remembrance they enjoy. So, who teaches such elevated task? Who is the one to make even Ramji Maryada Purushottam? As in reality, all successful people definitely had someone to whom they owe their success. The same way, someone or the other has certainly made Sri Ram the best among all the human souls. There just can't be any human being in this world who can teach elevated conduct, because even scholars like big judges, sages, saints, and so on are confused about the theory of karma. So, only he who himself doesn't come in the cycle of karma in this world, meaning the one who is detached from the world, can give the knowledge of the deep dynamics of karma. He remains detached from the world. This is why he is a Janma, that is, one who isn't born, a Garbha, that is, one who isn't born from the womb, and a Bhokta, that is, the one who doesn't seek pleasures. Because of not having his own body, he doesn't even become selfish and is forever beneficial. We can call him incorporeal Ram, or the Supreme Father plus Supreme Soul Shiva, who comes in a corporeal body at the present time and gives the knowledge of the deep dynamics of karma. He not only establishes the kingdom of Ram, but also destroys the demonic world through the corporeal Ram. God too has to adopt a disguise according to the country in which he comes to get his work done. This is why when the incorporeal point of light Shiva comes to this world, he comes with the support of nature, for which it is also said in the Gita, Prakritim Swam Avashtabhya, meaning I control my nature and come. Now the question is, when does the incorporeal Shiva incarnate in this world, having a divine birth in the body of corporeal Sri Ram? For this very time of incarnation, it is said in the Ramayana, Jab jab hoy dharm ki glani, bade asur adham abhimani, tab tab lete prabhu manut sharira. Whenever there is defamation of religion, when the number of lowly arrogant demons increase, God takes on a human body. This means that when the world becomes like hell, meaning when sins and violence reaches its peak and all the human beings of this world become as painful as thorns in a forest, then to end such a sorrow-giving world and to protect the sages and saints, God incarnates in an ordinary human body in the form of Ram. Now, it is worth giving a thought that on one side there is a praise for the kingdom of Ram, that is Ram Rajya, Dehik Devik Bhautik Tapa, Ram Rajya Kahu Nahi Vyapa. It means there isn't the sorrow of the body or any misfortune there. Bhautik Tapa means there are neither storms nor earthquakes that all the houses start collapsing and people go helter-skelter. The nature is also joy-giving there. Even a lion and a goat drink water at the same river bank in the kingdom of Ram. So pure is the atmosphere that even a violent tiger doesn't use violence. On the other side, it is said Sri Ramji protected many sages and saints by slaying demons. On one side, the kingdom of Ram is shown non-violent, and on the other side, Sri Ramji is shown fighting a violent war. So, what is the secret behind these two contradictory facts? Let's understand the reality of these stories from a spiritual point of view. The four ages mentioned in the time cycle are the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Copper Age, and the Iron Age. In this time cycle, half of the time, that is, in the Golden and Silver Age, there is the world of happiness. It is day in the form of heaven, and the other half of the time, that is, in the Copper and Iron Age, there is the world of sorrow. It is night in the form of hell. So in this time cycle, there is a period where there is extreme sorrow on one side and the period of extreme happiness on the other side. It is the end of the Iron Age and the beginning of Golden Age, which is called the Confluence Age. The very meaning of confluence is the combination of good and bad, truth and falsehood, violence and non-violence, and night and day. It is the time when the Supreme Father, Supreme Soul Shiva himself incarnates in this world and works to make this world heaven from hell. And by performing extraordinary tasks through an ordinary human body, he sets an excellent example of remaining stable in every situation like Sri Ram, so that everyone can follow him. This is why it is also said in the Gita, Yatida charati shreshtaha tattat devetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurte lokas tadanu vartate. Just as we came to know about the reality of the incarnation of Sri Ram, similarly, let us also understand the incidents related to his life from a spiritual perspective. Ravan is shown living in palaces, and despite being a king, Ram had to live in a forest. But in the Silver Age, there is a lush green world of heaven. In fact, there are gardens of flowers there, and flowers are joy-giving. So in reality, at the end of Iron Age, this world itself is a forest of thorns, where all living beings become sorrow-giving like thorns. They can't live without giving sorrow. Even if they don't wish, they certainly become an instrument to hurt others through their vision, vibrations, words, or actions. While continuously giving sorrow, a man gradually becomes a sinner, for which Arjuna also asked in the Gita, Atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi vashneya balat eva niyojitaha. Meaning, despite wishing not to, as if forced from behind, by whose inspiration does this man commit sins? God replied, this vice of lust and this anger born from Rajoguna is very bogey and sinful. Consider it as an enemy in this world. Along with lust and anger, there are also the vices of greed, attachment, and ego. Today, every human soul is experiencing sorrow in the jail of these five vices, just as Sita is shown sorrowful in the jail of Ravan. In the kingdom of Ram, they show Ravan took away Sita. So, was there really Ravan in the Silver Age? No. In reality, we all human souls in the form of Sitas, because of becoming body conscious from the Copper Age, we became slaves or were imprisoned in the garden of sorrow, that is, Shokvatika of Ravan in the form of five vices. To liberate them, the Father of the souls, the Supreme Soul Shiva, enters the corporeal body of Sri Ram and at the present time is telling us the art of conquering our Indriya, meaning the Lakshman Rekha, that is, a line of protection drawn by Lakshman of easy Raj Yoga and Ishwarya code of conduct. It is only by staying within those limits that we souls in the form of Sitas remain safe from the clutches of Ravan. Because of not having the complete knowledge of the code of conduct itself, human souls have become worse than an animal seized by these five vices. In its Yadgar, they show that Sri Ramji got an army of monkeys. It is said in the Ramayana, Ravan took an army of humans and Sri Ram took an army of monkeys. So, Did Sri Ram really not find human beings that he had to take an army of monkeys? In reality, it isn't about the animal monkeys. The intellect of today's man itself has become as vicious as that of monkeys. Sri Ram comes and makes those with a monkey-like intellect itself into those worthy of being worshipped in temples. It means deities. Due to living life in a forest, Sri Ramji doesn't even have any chariot during his war against Ravan, for which it has come in the Ramayana. Ravan Rati Virat Raghuvira Dekh Vibhishan Bhayo Adhira. Ravan was riding the chariot, Raghuvir was without the chariot. Seeing this, Vibhishan became restless. Just like it isn't about a physical jungle or animal monkeys, in the same way, this isn't about some physical chariot. It is said in the Kathopanishad, Atmanam Ratinam Vidhi Shariram Ratameva Cha, meaning the body itself is called the chariot. To show Ravan with a chariot means the consciousness of the body he has is huge, meaning big. This is why every year on Dashera, they keep making the effigy of Ravan bigger and bigger. While Ramji isn't shown with a chariot, it means he doesn't have consciousness of the body at all. He is in fact far from body conscious. That is, he is soul conscious. Apart than this, there are some more incidents linked to the life of Ramji, like it is shown in the scriptures Ahilya, who was turned into a stone rock in the jungle as a result of a curse, becomes living from a stone as soon as she is touched by Sri Ramji's feet. Everyone accepts that Ramji is certainly God, so such transformation is no big deal. But God doesn't do any miracles. Rather, He gives such knowledge of the soul and the Supreme Soul through which the intellect which has become stone, meaning inert due to body consciousness, becomes dynamic, active, that is, living once again. This divine intellect is God's gift, and this itself is the true wealth for which it is said, Jaha Sumati Taha Sampati Nana, or Jaha Kumati Taha Vipati Nidana. Where there is wisdom, there is wealth, and where there is lack of wisdom, there are lot of difficulties. And this is such an imperishable wealth which is never exhausted. It increases even more by giving, for which it is said, Dhan diye, dhan na kute. Wealth doesn't exhaust no matter how much you donate. Donating this knowledge itself is far more elevated than donating physical things, for which it has come in the Gita, Shreyan Dravyamayat Yagyat Jnana Yagya Parantapa. O Parantap, the imperishable yagya of knowledge is much better than the yagya performed with physical things, because all the rituals of the entire world end in the Rudra Gyan Yagya. It is shown in the epic Ramayana, Shabri herself tasted berries first, then fed them to Ramji. Sri Ramji even accepts those partially eaten berries offered with devotion by Shabri, because God is hungry for true love. It has come in the Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati Tada Aham Bhaktyupahitam Ashnami Prayatatmanaha. A poor person or any person who offers leaves, flowers, fruits, water, or any ordinary thing affectionately, I happily accept that leftover offering full of faith brought with full devotion. Lakshman did accept Shabri's tasted berries, but Sri Ramji happily accepted them because God is unblemished, for which Tulsidas ji has said, Samarat ko nahi dosh gosai, Ravi Pavak jal sam ki nahi. The one who is capable is not tainted, just as the sun, fire, and water. Just like there is the sun, no matter how much dirt is spreading all over the world, the sun dries up all the dirt. In the same way, fire also burns garbage and purifies it. Water also works as purifier. This is why it isn't tainted. These were some well-known incidents related to Ramji's life. But when God incarnates in the world, He comes with a special purpose. This has been described in the Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyuthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Meaning, whenever there is defamation of religion and irreligiousness increases, it is then that I come to establish the true religion, destroy the wicked ones, and to protect the holy people. So, to perform these extraordinary tasks, God Himself has incarnated on this earth, and all those who continue to recognize Him, He resides in their mind. In this way, by assimilating good qualities in within, destroying the vices, and sustaining virtues, they also keep becoming helpers in establishing the kingdom of Ram. But there is no value of establishment unless wickedness of the wicked or their bad traits are destroyed. Now, we shall know how these duties are performed by Sri Ramji. The special task is to protect the yajna, that is, divine family established by God. When Vishwamitra organized a yajna to bring welfare to the people, demons create obstacles in the yajna by throwing bones, chunks of meat, garbage, etc. to impede that sacred task. Then Vishwamitra protected the yajna with the help of Sri Ramji and Lakshman. With their help, not only were the sages and saints protected, but demons were also destroyed. The next incident is the slaying of Bali. It is shown in the epic Ramayana. To kill Bali, Sri Ramji shot an arrow under the cover of 7 palm trees because Bali had received a boon. Whoever fought with him face to face would lose half of his strength to Bali. This is why Lord Sri Ramji killed Bali with a tact. This isn't a malicious trick, but a method, because it is said, iron cuts iron, meaning one has to adopt wickedness to fight the wicked. It is said, Shati Shatyam Samacharit, tit for tat. After this comes the main task of Sri Ramji, killing Ravan, which is a symbol of the victory of good over evil. Ravan is shown as a very powerful 10-headed demon in the scriptures. He was also an expert in the Vedas and the scriptures, but because of his ego, despite being a Brahmin, he was called a demon. Now the question is there such a person with 10 heads? And on the top of those 10 heads, they also show the head of a donkey. So what is its spiritual significance? In reality, all the names are given according to the task performed, and the name Ravan means Ravyate Lokan iti Ravan, meaning the one who gives sorrow by making people cry. So what is the real form of Ravan? Actually, there is no such 10-headed personality, because had he existed, today his generation would have been visible. Actually, among the 10 heads of Ravan, 5 heads symbolize the 5 vices, that is, lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego, and the other 5 heads symbolize the 5 elements of nature, that is, earth, water, air, fire, and sky, whom Ravan had tied to his bedstead. Other than this, the donkey's head shown above the 10 heads of Ravan explains the reason for even the 5 vices and 5 elements of nature to become Tamopradhan. The reason is body consciousness. It is the consciousness, I too am something. This is arrogance of being important. To think of yourself as a body, to see others too in the form of a body, and to perform all kinds of tasks in that very consciousness, this itself is the donkey's head. They show in Ramayana, Sri Ram killed Ravan with arrows. So this isn't about some physical bow and arrows, neither did Ramji commit any physical violence. When even sages and saints today don't teach violence, and the deities are also said to be non-violent in the Gita, how can God Himself fight a violent war? Actually, The language of the poets is figurative and symbolic. The meaning of arrows is the arrows of knowledge. Just as someone gets injured when an arrow hits him, in the same way, after hearing God's knowledge, the Ravan that is present within every human being is destroyed. It has also been said in the Gita, God's knowledge is the only weapon to destroy ignorance. Tasmat ajnana sambhutam riddhstam jnanasena atmanah chitva enam sanshayam yogam atishta uttishta bharat, meaning cut down the doubt within the heart arising out of ignorance with the dagger of knowledge of the soul. Engage in yoga and stand up. In this way, when we gain victory over Ravan through knowledge, it is only then that the kingdom of Ram will come, or we all will become the residents of Ayodhya. What is the meaning of Ayodhya? Means no, Yodhya meaning war. A place where there is no war is named Ayodhya. So, can this be about some physical place situated in UP? Actually, now at the present time, at the end of the Iron Age, the real Sri Ram comes and establishes a beautiful, blissful world. That place itself is glorified as Ayodhya, meaning a gathering of such souls where there are no conflicts with each other. Such a family unit is prepared in which nobody clashes with another. Nobody fights with words or glare fiercely at each other. When they don't even fight with vibrations, coming down to abuse one another or engaging in a tussle is a far off thing. Such is the kingdom of Ram. There everything works well under the control of the One. There is one religion, one kingdom, one clan, one language, one opinion there. There is no question of conflict at all. That is called the real Ayodhya and the people of Ayodhya. So just think, the city of Ayodhya that is present in the physical UP, does this feeling of one family exist in the people there? Can they be called real residents of Ayodhya? No. The real Ayodhya is in fact being established by Sri Ram now. The next topic is about the Ram temple in Ayodhya. It is known to all of you that just a few months ago, the great occasion of the consecration ceremony at the Ram temple was celebrated with great enthusiasm in Ayodhya. Because after so many years of struggle, we succeeded in constructing the Ram temple in Ayodhya. But could we recognize the real Ram? Had we recognized him, why do we sing? Charo taraf lagaye fere, fir bhi har dam dur rahe. I wandered in all the four directions, yet always stayed away from you. This means we haven't recognized the real Ram. According to the spiritual perspective, who can build the temple meaning house of Sri Ram? Sri Ramji himself will build his house. Is it about that Sri Ram of the Silver Age? No, that incorporeal Shiva, Supreme Father, Supreme Soul, is the God of even Ram. This is why, praising that very Shiva, Sri Ram has said in the Ramayana, Shiv drohi mam das kahava, so nar sapne ho mohi na pava. The one who is hostile towards Shiva cannot be my servant. He cannot attend me even in his dreams. At present, during the last period of the cycle, the corporeal body in which that incorporeal Shiva has come, he himself is the real Sri Ram, who is secretly building his temple-like house on his own. For this it is said, Gupt vesh mein satyug rachne aaye Shiv Bhagwan ab to jaag insan. God Shiva has come in a hidden form to create the golden age. Now wake up, O human being. Just like the Ram temple was built in Ayodhya after a long struggle, in the same way, the living Sri Ram will also be revealed after struggling with this kingdom of Ravan within a short time now, and at the same time, the kingdom of Ram will also be established. It is only then that the temple of Ramji will truly be visible in the entire world. Further, we shall understand what strategy Sri Ramji uses to secretly establish Ram Rajya by ending the kingdom of Ravan. It is said in the scriptures that the city of Ayodhya is situated on the banks of river Saryu. Ayodhya means where no war takes place. So such a non-violent kingdom can be established only by adopting the path of non-violence. When a person who establishes the religion is so elevated that he ensures that no fights, no struggle should happen, that bloodshed shouldn't take place, it is only then that it will be called the city of Ayodhya in a real sense. So now Sri Ramji has come. He gives knowledge and makes you act in such a manner that there is gain without any loss. For example, why did Lord Shankar run around the entire world fearing Bhasmasur? Was he a coward? He wasn't a coward. He used a tact so that there isn't any fight or bloodshed. Why did Lord Krishna run from village to village fearing Kans? Why did he run from Barsana to Gokul? He came up with a plan to avoid any bloodshed. Similarly, why did Lord Sri Ram have to wander in forest? There is no question of fear here, but he used this tactic in which he himself suffered hardships and established an excellent kingdom for his subjects. There were conflicts in all the religious communities that were established, be it the Islam, the Muslim religion, or be it the establishment of the Christian religion. All the religions that were established, there was bloodshed involved in it. This is why, as the number of religions in the world increased, differences based on those religions also increased. In the Gita, God said to Arjun, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, meaning, if you renounce all the religions and take refuge in me alone, you can attain eternal peace and happiness. This is why now Sri Ramji comes in a corporeal form and along with the religion establishes the kingdom so tactfully that no bloodshed takes place. Such is the kingdom of Ram. For that Ram Rajya it is sung, Tehik Devik Bhautik Tapa, Ram Rajya Kahu Nahi Vyapa. Where no sorrow of body, fortune or nature exists is the kingdom of Ram. So far, we understood the task of Sri Ramji, the extraordinary task because of which he became worthy of being praised. This is why the glory of Ram's name is endless. It has also come in Ramcharitmanas. Sanmukh hoi jiva mohi jabhi, janma koti aganashahi tabhi. It means just by being face to face with Ram, the sins of many births are destroyed. So, even after believing, worshipping, keeping fast, reciting the Ramayana for Ramji for so many years, were we able to come face to face with him? And did our sins of many births get destroyed? Had the sins been destroyed, there would be no trace of sorrow in our lives. So, has the suffering in our life ended? No, because we can be face to face with Sri Ram only when we recognize through spiritual knowledge that he has come in a corporeal form. And after recognizing him, it is just through his knowledge and yoga that our sins will be destroyed completely. For this, it has come in the Gita. Vita raga bhayo krodha manmaya mam upashita bhavo jnana tapasa bodha mad bhavam agatha. My quality earlier too. The idea of taking shelter can be possible only when he is present in a corporeal form. Just as the name of Sri Ramji is praised, likewise the glory of the knowledge given by him is also incomparable. It has also come in the Ramcharitmanas, Ram Kripa Nashahi Sab Rogo. The highest of the high soul remembers, that soul will certainly feel the attraction. Heart comforts the heart, for which Tulsidas ji has said, Hriday Peer Mere, Gao Raghuveer. My heart aches and Ram's heart gets wounded. So this is a feeling. God is also hungry for feelings. The more we love God, the more we have attachment for Him, the more we remember Him, the more He will love us. And if He loves us, our power of remembrance will increase, our zeal and enthusiasm will increase, our happiness will increase. What else can someone wish for in his life? We were concerned about finding our Brahma Parameshwar, that is, the Supreme God. When we have found Him, what else do we need? You used to say in Bhakti, Oh God, when you come, we will devote ourselves to you. So now, the time has come to see who can fulfill that promise to what extent. Good always wins over evil. So now, God has left all of us free to make the decision. When God comes in this world at the end of the Iron Age, the whole world itself becomes Ravan's community, meaning they become sinful and vicious. So, in Ravan's community, there are some sages and sannyasis like Kumbhakaran, and some are even Vibhishan. Those who are Vibhishan recognize God the Father and after telling all the weaknesses about Ravan to Sri Ram, they become his helpers in every way, through thoughts, words, actions, body, mind and wealth, which ultimately leads to the death of Ravan. Vibhishan acts becoming soul conscious and Kumbhakaran acts being body conscious, protects his family honor and doesn't support Sri Ram. Instead, he supports Ravan, the symbol of evil. While he is to say, Ram is true and my brother Ravan is false. Still he supported Ravan because the connection of the family is with the body. But Vibhishan was soul conscious. He didn't value family or public honor. Instead, he took God the Father's help and also supported him, who became elevated. Vibhishan himself became elevated, didn't he? Just as Vibhishan kicked at Ravan's community and came to the side of Sri Ram, similarly, now it is that very time to support Lord Sri Ram. Do give it a thought. It is said, Ram Naam Satya Hai. Ram's name is true. At the last moments of somebody's life, that is, in the end of the Iron Age, it will sit in everyone's intellect that one Sri Ram is true and the whole world is false. This is why it is also said, Jhuti Maya, Jhuti Kaya, Jhuta Sab Sansar. It is false Maya, false body and a false world. If you recognize the true Ram with the eyes of knowledge and become his helpers, victory will surely be yours. It is said, Satyameva Jayate, truth alone triumphs. Along with the festival of Ram Navami, the festival of Chaitra Navratri is also celebrated. Now, what is the relation of Durga Puja with the birth of Ramji? When Sri Ram gained victory over Ravan, the day which is celebrated as Dashera, even then there is the tradition of worshipping Devis for 9 days. After all, what kind of relation does Sri Ram have with the Shiv Shaktis? In reality, Sri Ram is the incorporeal Shiva who comes to this world at the end of the Iron Age, enters the ordinary body of the corporeal Sri Ram and takes a divine birth. He sets free all of us souls in the form of Sitas from the jail of the five vices of Ravan through Ishwarya knowledge and easy Rajyog. And the one who feels this power of knowledge and yoga in herself from Shiva, she becomes a strong woman from being weak. It means she becomes a woman power, that is Nari Shakti or Shiv Shakti. Durga means the one who removes bad traits. God Shiva comes and makes human beings into deities with divine virtues. This is why, as a yadgar of it, Devis are worshipped. Now, we shall revise in brief what we understood in this session. First of all, we understood about Ramji's character. We understood how he is an obedient son and a king equal to a father who sustains his subjects like his own children without being partial. He maintains friendship with the people of all classes. He is a devoted husband, faithful to one wife, and a giver of the wealth and property of knowledge. Secondly, we also understood the incidents related to his life from a spiritual perspective. Like in the end of Iron Age, he lives among people who are sorrow-giving like thorns in a jungle. Abduction of the soul in the form of Sita by Ravan in the form of five vices. How the intellect becomes vicious like that of a monkey. How is it human beings themselves who are helpers in the form of an army of monkeys? Granting a sentient intellect to Ahilya. The fourth point we understood is about the construction of the Ram temple in the city of Ayodhya. Ayodhya itself means being war. Ayodhya means war. Such a family system where there is no fight through mind, words, or actions. It is the soul-like idol is being established in the living temple-like body, meaning Sri Ramji himself is making his house, meaning Ram Rajya, in a hidden form as mentioned in the Gita. The fifth point we understood is the praise of Sri Ramji's name. For example, by recognizing Ramji who has come in a corporeal form and being face to face with him, the sins of many births are destroyed. Through the foolproof medicine in the form of the arrows of knowledge of soul and the Supreme Soul, you become healthy from being diseased. God's knowledge, that is spiritual knowledge, is Sri Ramji's grace, which inspires true detachment from the delusion and maya of this world. The sixth point, by recognizing God and becoming helpers in His task, we can become helpers in establishing the real kingdom of Ram in the form of the Golden Age. We also understood the spiritual secret of the relation between Durga Puja and Ram Navami. When the incorporeal Ram Shiva has a divine birth in this world, he transforms a weak woman into a Shiv Shakti, that is, makes her worship worthy. Today, on the festival of Ram Navami, we hope that all of you who have joined this online meeting have received the real introduction of Sri Ramji with the help of some new facts. In reality, the reward of bhakti itself is knowledge. So after listening to the knowledge given by Sri Ramji, you may have some questions. If you seek an answer to it, you can email us. Our email ID is a1spiritual1@gmail.com, or you can also contact us by phone. Our phone number is 9891370007, or you can also connect with the Spiritual University. We request all of you to kindly express your